The knock came weak, like even Jake's knuckles had given up hope. His hand shook on the door. Behind him, the road stretched empty for miles, dust still settling from his tired boots. The door opened. A woman stood there, arms crossed, eyes sharp as a hawk's. Clara Reed did not smile. She did not say hello. She just looked at him, top to bottom, like he was a horse she was thinking about buying, then thinking about selling right back. "What do you want?" she said, flat, cold, no room for softness in it. Jake pulled off his hat. His hands were dirty, his shirt torn at the shoulder. "Ma'am, I'm looking for work. I can fix fences, I can plow, I'll do anything." She said nothing. The silence stretched long, longer than Jake could stand. Then she said, "I don't need a farmhand." Jake's chest went tight. He turned to walk away, boots dragging in the dirt. "Wait." He turned back fast, too fast, like a man grabbing a rope before it slipped past. Clara stepped closer, her eyes locked onto his, steady as a rifle sight. "I'm not hearing a worker," she said. "I'm hearing a husband." Jake froze. The wind stopped. Even the chickens in the yard seemed to go quiet. "What did you say?" he asked, sure his ears had lied to him. "You heard me." Her voice did not shake, did not joke. "I need a husband, not for love, for the law. Come inside, I'll explain." Jake did not move. His mind spun like a wagon wheel stuck in mud, turning and turning with nowhere to go. Every part of him wanted to run. But his stomach was empty, hollow as an old well, and something in her eyes told him this was no joke, no trick, no trap laid just for fun. He stepped through the door, not knowing that one small step would change everything. Inside, the house was small but clean. Clara poured coffee into 2 tin cups, her hand steady, but her jaw tight like she was holding back a scream she had buried a long time ago. "My husband died 2 years back," she said, not looking up. "Snake bite. Since then I run this farm alone." Jake stayed quiet. He held his cup but did not drink. "There's a law here," Clara said. "A widow can't own land past 5 years. Some old rule made by men who never once picked up a plow." Her voice turned hard as stone. "Time runs out for me this fall. If I got no husband, the land goes to my dead husband's brother, Silas Reed." "Why's that so bad?" Jake asked. Clara's eyes flashed, sharp and burning. "Because Silas is a cruel man. He beats his workers half to death. He waters down grain to cheat honest buyers. If he gets this land, everything I built turns to dust. Everything my husband built before he died. Gone, just like that." She looked straight at Jake now, studying his face like she was reading a map. "I need a husband in name only," she said. "You live here, you work the land. You eat my food, sleep under my roof, get half of everything we grow. But this ain't a real marriage. No love, just paper and a promise." Jake's heart pounded hard against his ribs. This was madness, pure madness. "Why me?" he asked. "You don't even know my name proper." "You looked hungry," Clara said. "But you didn't look mean. That's rare enough round here." Jake thought of the empty road behind him, the empty pockets, the empty nights with no roof, no fire, no hope. He thought of this farm, green and alive, fighting to survive. "All right," Jake said, voice low, "I'll do it." Clara nodded slow, but her eyes stayed guarded, locked tight like an old barn door. "We marry this week," she said. "Silas is coming soon. He must believe this is real." Jake did not know it yet. Saying yes had just opened a door to danger he never saw coming. The wedding was small and fast. Just Clara, Jake, and the old preacher inside the tiny Dust Creek church. No flowers, no family, no smiles. Clara wore a plain gray dress. Jake wore a coat too big for his thin shoulders, borrowed from a neighbor who asked no questions. "You may kiss the bride," the preacher said. Clara turned her cheek instead of her lips. Jake understood. This was business, not love, not yet. That night Jake slept in the barn, not the house. Nobody said why. Nobody needed to. Days passed. Jake worked hard, harder than he'd worked in years. He fixed the broken fence by the north field. He helped birth a calf in the cold black of night, his hands shaking from more than just the cold. He learned Clara's way of farming, smart and careful, nothing wasted, nothing wild. Slowly something shifted, not love, not yet, but something close to trust. Clara talked more at supper now. Jake started laughing at her dry, quiet jokes. The house felt a little less empty, a little more alive. Then one evening, dust rose fast on the road. A rider was coming hard. Clara's face went pale as chalk. "That's Silas," she whispered. Silas Reed climbed off his horse slow, like he already owned the ground beneath his boots. His smile was cold as winter. "Well, well," he said, eyes locked on Jake. "Heard you got yourself a husband, Clara, fast work." "It's true," Clara said, chin up, standing tall. "Meet Jake, my husband." Silas stepped close, studying Jake like a wolf sizing up a rabbit. "You don't look like a farmer," he said. "You look like trouble walked in off the road." "I work hard," Jake said, holding his ground though his heart pounded like a drum. Silas laughed, but it was not a happy sound. It was a warning. "We'll see," he said. "Papers can lie, land don't." He climbed back on his horse. Before riding off, he turned one last time. "Watch your back, sister-in-law," he said. "I'm not done." Then he rode into the dusty sunset, leaving fear behind like smoke that would not clear. That night, dark clouds rolled in fast. Wind howled like a wounded animal. Rain crashed down hard, and thunder shook the old farmhouse walls. "This storm's bad," Clara said, staring out the window, worry sharp in her eyes. "If the dam breaks, the whole field floods. We lose everything." Jake did not think twice. He grabbed his coat. "I'll check it." "It's too dangerous," Clara shouted over the wind. But Jake was already out the door, running through mud and rain toward the creek. Clara stood frozen a moment, her heart pounding with a fear she did not expect. Then she grabbed a lantern and ran after him. At the creek, water rose fast, crashing hard against the old wooden dam. Cracks split through the wood. Jake grabbed logs and stones, holding the dam together with his bare hands. Clara joined him, pushing mud into every crack she could find. Lightning flashed white across the sky. For 1 second, Jake looked at Clara, soaked to the bone, shivering but not giving up, fighting with everything she had. Something warm stirred in his chest, something bigger than respect now. Then a shadow moved through the rain. Silas, a shovel in his hand. He'd come to break the dam himself, to ruin Clara for good. But watching them fight so hard together, something in his cold heart cracked. "Silas," Clara screamed, "help us or walk away. This land isn't just mine anymore, it's ours." Silas stood still, rain pouring down his angry face. Nobody moved. Then, slow, he dropped the shovel and stepped into the water, pushing the last stones into place beside them. The dam held, the storm passed, the fields were safe. Later, standing in the mud, soaked and tired, Silas looked at them both. "Still think this land should have been mine," he said quiet, "but I won't fight a love that's real." He turned and rode off, this time for good. Clara turned to Jake, rain dripping from her hair. "This started as a deal," she said soft, "paper and promise, nothing more." "And now?" Jake asked, heart pounding louder than the fatting thunder. Clara smiled, her first real smile. "Now it feels real." Jake took her hand, and under the clearing sky, two strangers found something they never went looking for.